Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a principle that can change the trajectory of your life. It's a concept that's simple yet revolutionary, one that cuts through the noise of the everyday world. Earl Nightingale once said, "Look at what the majority of people are doing and do the exact opposite, and you'll probably never go wrong for as long as you live." Think about that for a moment. It's a powerful idea, one that challenges us to step back, observe, and act differently. My goal today is to unpack this wisdom and show you how doing the opposite of what most people do can lead you to success, fulfillment, and a life of purpose. Let's start by examining the majority. What are they doing? Look around. Most people drift. They move through life without a clear direction, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. They wake up each morning with no plan, letting the day dictate their actions. They spend their time on trivial things. Hours vanish into mindless entertainment, fleeting pleasures, or idle chatter. They avoid hard work because it's tough. They shy away from risk because it's uncertain. They settle for average because it's comfortable. That's the crowd's way. That's where most people live. And if you follow their lead, you'll end up right there with them, stuck in the ordinary. Now picture the opposite. Imagine rejecting that drift and taking charge. If most people wander aimlessly, you set a course. If they waste time, you protect it. If they dodge effort, you lean into it. If they fear risk, you embrace it. If they settle, you push forward. That's what Nightingale's advice is all about. It's not just contrarianism for its own sake. It's a deliberate choice to break free from the habits that keep most people small. It's a roadmap to results the crowd never sees. Let's dive into this idea piece by piece, starting with time. The majority squanders it. They treat time like it's endless, letting days, weeks, even years slip through their fingers. They binge shows, scroll feeds, or linger in conversations that go nowhere. They don't plan, they react. Time is the one resource you can't replenish. Yet most people act as if it's disposable. Do the opposite. Value your time above all else. Plan your days with intention. Set goals, not vague wishes, but specific written down targets, and work toward them daily. Wake up early while others sleep. Study while others waste. Invest your hours in things that build your future, skills, relationships, projects. The majority lets time slip away. You seize it, you make it yours. Now let's talk about work. Most people look for the path of least resistance. They want the easy route, the shortcut, the hack, the minimum effort for the maximum gain. They grumble about their jobs, their bosses, their lack of breaks. They wait for success to find them, as if it's a gift someone else will deliver. That's the common mindset. Do the opposite. Embrace hard work. Seek out the tough tasks. Volunteer for the challenge no one else wants. Build a reputation as someone who doesn't just meet expectations but exceeds them. Success isn't handed out. It's forged through effort. The majority runs from difficulty, complaining all the way. You run toward it knowing that's where growth lives. When you consistently go the extra mile, opportunities will come to you that others never even glimpse. What about money? The majority spends it recklessly. They live beyond their means, chasing the next purchase, a flashy car, a bigger TV, a trip they can't afford. They trade tomorrow's security for today's thrill. Debt piles up, savings stay empty, and they wonder why they're always broke. Do the opposite. Save diligently, invest wisely. See money not as something to burn through, but as a tool to build with. Pay yourself first. Take 10%, 20%, whatever you can, and put it aside before you spend a dime. Study money, how it works, how it grows, how it multiplies. The majority spends to impress others. You save to secure your future. While they're scrambling at the end of the month, you're laying the groundwork for independence. Let's move to learning. Most people stop growing the day they leave school. They think their education is done, that they've got all they need. They coast on old knowledge, letting their minds rust. They don't read, don't study, don't seek. Over time they fall behind, not because they can't learn, but because they won't. Do the opposite. Commit to lifelong learning. Pick up books, serious books, the kind that stretch your thinking. Listen to experts who've walked the path you want to follow. Find mentors who'll guide you. Attend workshops, take courses, ask questions. The majority lets their intellect stagnate. You keep yours sharp. Every day learn something new about your craft, your world, yourself. That habit alone will put you in a league most never reach. Health is another area where this principle shines. The majority neglects it. They eat what's fast and cheap, greasy takeout, sugary drinks, empty calories. They sit all day, avoiding exercise, because it's inconvenient, or they're too busy. They trade their well-being for ease, then wonder why they feel sluggish and sick. Do the opposite. Take responsibility for your health. Eat real food, things that nourish you, not just fill you. Move your body, walk, lift weights, run, stretch, whatever keeps you strong. Make it a priority, not an option. The majority waits for a wake-up call, a doctor's warning, a diagnosis to act. You act now to prevent it. Your energy, your focus, your longevity. These are the dividends of doing the opposite. Relationships matter too. Most people settle for whoever's around. Friends who whine, colleagues who gossip, acquaintances who drain them. They stick with the familiar, even when it's toxic, because it's easier than seeking better. Do the opposite. Be selective. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, those who inspire, challenge, and encourage you. Seek out winners, not whiners. Build connections with those who are going places, not just marking time. The majority lets their circle happen by accident. You design yours with purpose. Your environment shapes you, choose it wisely. Risk is a big one. The majority avoids it like the plague. They cling to safety, to routine, to the known. They'd rather stay put than face the unknown, even if it means staying stuck. But here's the reality, nothing worthwhile comes without risk. Do the opposite. Take smart risks, step into uncertainty. Start that venture you've been dreaming about, pitch that idea. Make that move. The majority hides from failure, fearing the sting. You see failure as a teacher. Yes, you might stumble. Good. Each stumble shows you what works and what doesn't. The crowd plays it safe and stays small. You take the chance and grow big. Discipline is the glue that holds this all together. Most people lack it. They live by whims, sleeping late, skipping commitments, chasing every distraction. They let feelings rule them, not principles. Do the opposite. Build discipline. Do what's required, even when it's hard, even when you're tired. Show up every day. Keep your word to yourself first, then to others. The majority bends to the moment's pull. You bend the moment to your purpose. Discipline isn't flashy, it's quiet, steady, powerful. It's the difference between wishing and achieving. Let's expand on this with some practical examples. Take the average person's morning. Most hit snooze 3 times, stumble out of bed late, and rush into the day frazzled. Do the opposite. Set your alarm early, say 5 a.m., and get up the first time it rings. Use that quiet hour to think, plan, read, or exercise. While others start scattered, you start sharp. Or consider how people handle setbacks. The majority blames circumstances, luck, other people. Do the opposite. Own it. Ask, what can I learn? How can I improve? The crowd points fingers. You point the way forward. What about goals? Most people don't have them. Not really. They might dream vaguely about more money or a better life, but they don't write it down. Don't break it into steps. Do the opposite. Define your goals clearly. Write them out, where you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10. Then map the actions to get there. The majority drifts without a destination. You steer with a compass, or take communication. Most people talk more than they listen, eager to be heard but slow to understand. Do the opposite. Listen twice as much as you speak. Ask questions. Learn from others. The crowd clamors for attention. You gain influence through insight. Now some of you might push back. This sounds like a lot. Why fight the current? Why not just relax and go with it? I get it. The majority's way is easier, less resistance, less effort. But here's the catch. Easy leads to average. Easy leads to a life half-lived. A life of what-ifs and if-onlys. The majority isn't thriving. They're coasting. They're not fulfilled. They're just getting by. Doing the opposite isn't about exhaustion. It's about intention. It's about choosing a life that matters over a life that blends in. Yes, it takes work. Yes, it demands focus. But the return, a life of meaning, impact, and reward. Look at history's greats. Did they follow the pack? No. Edison didn't invent the light bulb by doing what everyone else did. He experimented when others gave up. Lincoln didn't rise from poverty to the presidency by drifting. He studied, worked, persisted. The Wright brothers didn't fly by staying grounded. They risked, failed, tried again. The pattern is clear. The majority settles, the exceptional diverge. You don't need their genius. Just their willingness to go the other way. How do you start? Pick one thing. Time, work, money, learning, health, relationships, risk, discipline. Choose an area. Observe the majority's habit. then flip it. Test it out. If most people waste evenings, use yours to build a skill. If they spend every dollar, save a chunk of yours. If they avoid the gym, go. Small shifts compound. One opposite choice today becomes a habit tomorrow, a lifestyle next year. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just start where you stand. This principle is your edge. It's a filter for decisions. When you're unsure, ask what would most people do. Then go the other direction. It's not about rebellion, it's about results. The majority's road is wide, crowded and predictable. The opposite path is narrower, lonelier, but it leads somewhere better. It's where you find clarity, strength and achievement. It's where you become who you're meant to be. So here's my charge to you. Don't float with the tide. Don't accept the crowd's limits. Look at what they're doing, then do the opposite. Take ownership of your days. Act with purpose. Pursue excellence relentlessly. The majority will watch you climb and wonder how. You'll know you chose the road less traveled. That's the secret. That's the power. Start now. The crowd's waiting. Let them. You've got a different journey ahead.